All right, so today's lesson, we're going to be talking about connecting percents and proportions. Yesterday, we talked about analyzing percents, and today we're going to connect percents and proportions. So how does the proportional reasoning relate to percent? Okay, in our I can statement, I can use proportions to solve percent problems. All right, so we're going to do a little small just talk to your neighbor. First, we're going to think about the question, and then we'll turn and talk to our group and figure out what the answer is. I'll give you 30 seconds to think about it to yourself, and then 30 seconds to think with your group members, and then we will go over the question and somebody will answer. So the question says, a florist is making flower arrangements for a party. He uses purple and white flowers in a ratio of 3 purple flowers to 1 white flower. How many flowers will he need in order to make 30 identical arrangements? So again, take about 15 to 30 seconds. Think about what you want your answer to be and how you came up with that answer. And then about 15 to 30 seconds, I will tell you to turn to your group and discuss it. Okay. All right, so go ahead with your group members, discuss what you think and how you think the answer is that. No. Oh, he's at 1. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Okay. All right, so back quiet. If you think you know the answer and you would like to share out, just raise your hand. Okay. Tony, what do you think? Okay, and how did you get that answer? So a total of 4 flowers. Okay, and then? Okay, so she said there's 4 flowers altogether and they want to make 30 identical arrangements. This is one arrangement with 4. So if you wanted to make 30, you would do 4 times 30, which is 120. So good. Okay, everybody else got that answer too? Good, okay. All right, so again, today in the lesson we're going to use proportions to find a percent, to find a part, or to find a whole. We're going to use our percent proportions that we learned in topic 3.1, and we're going to solve proportion problems and determine if we're looking for our percent, our part, or our whole. So remember our key concepts. Percent problems represent a kind of proportional relationship. You can use proportional reasoning to solve percent problems. So we always have a part and a whole. A whole represents like the classroom. Everybody in the class is a whole. If I want to take a part of that, I might say part of my class wears glasses. Okay, so that would be a few students in here out of the whole amount of the class. Or I might say out of my whole class, who writes with their right hand. Okay, and that would be another part. So everybody doesn't write with their right hand, but part of the class writes with their right hand. So we have a whole and then we have a part. Percent over 100. Percent is basically just saying that we can change our part over whole to a percent. And a percent is always out of 100. But is our whole always out of 100? No. Do I have 100 students in the classroom right now? No, but I can still find the percent of how many students there are for whatever I'm looking for the part. Okay, so we always remember part over whole equals percent over 100. Now in this lesson, we do introduce new length over old length. So in some problems that we read, we're going to figure out if the length changes and goes to a bigger length, then we would put our new length over our old length. So the new length would be essentially the part and the old length would be the whole. Now we can also have something that changes, like if I buy a bike, which is one of the problems, and the bike originally cost me a certain amount of money, that's my old price. But my new price would represent, again, the top. So just think about that when we get ready to explore in these problems. So this is our percent proportion setup. Okay, we do step 1 where we set up the percent proportion. We have part over whole equals percent over 100. 100 is always there, which is why it's on here. So on your groups, you do have your percent proportion setup. It looks just like this. So we're going to use these when we're solving our percent problems today. In step 2, you will cross multiply, and in step 3, you will solve for the unknown variable, okay? And again, whatever it is that we're looking for is our unknown variable. So if I'm looking for my part, then my x would be here. But if I'm looking for the percent, then my x would be here. Again, you can use whatever letter you want, but that is how you would set it up. So let's go over the group expectations. Remember, in your group, you're to give thoughtful feedback, respect others and their thoughts, stay on task all the time, use quiet voices, participate actively, and stay with your group. So just in case you do forget, it's on here. So just make sure you pay attention. Okay. All right, and then in your baskets are also your different roles. Everybody is going to have a role in the group. If you only have 4 people in your group, then 2 people will have an extra role, okay? All 6 roles need to be accounted for. So let's go over the roles and the activity. So in your group, only the supply master, which is one of the roles, will pass out the necessary materials. The leader of the group is going to be the person who is going to read the question. Everybody has a different question. They're going to read the question, and they're going to keep the members on task. Everybody in the group is going to work together to solve the problem. If you are the recorder, the person who's writing, you're going to use that percent proportion paper to solve and write down the problem based on what you and your group determine the numbers to be. If your role is the calculator, you will calculate the numbers that you need to calculate, okay? I will set a timer for 10 minutes, and the timer, the person who's the timekeeper, needs to make sure that everybody stays on task and finishes the problem in 10 minutes. When the time is up, the speaker will come up and present to the class, okay? So whoever's the speaker in the group will present to the class. And while they're presenting the question, I will make sure I can help you if you need, but only the person that's the speaker will come up. And then I will also pass out, while you guys are doing this, your papers that you will use at the end to solve everybody's problems, because everybody has a different problem, and everybody in the class is going to solve that problem as well on their paper. So when the speaker comes up, you're going to fill in the paper for that question that group had to answer the question. So go ahead and pick your roles that you're going to do. So I'm going to give you the role. Once you get your roles, I will start the timer. So I'll give you 1 minute. Just pick a role. We don't have all day. Okay. All right. Again, now that you have your roles, the person who passes out papers will pass out the materials. Your 10 minutes is starting now, so go ahead and read your problem. Whoever's the problem. Y'all got 10 minutes. So who's going to be the person who's over the materials? Pass out the question to the person whoever's the leader, so they can read it. And then this to the recorder. You got a marker in here? No? Okay. Who read the problem? Okay. Read your problem. Did you read it already? Okay. Who's the recorder? You got a marker? Okay. Hey, the one. Can we use a sheet of paper? Sure. Okay. You gonna be the leader? So you read the question? Yeah, he already read it. Okay. Okay. Y'all got a marker? Who's the recorder? Focus, please. You're helping, right? Remember?
Yes, you put the best you can right here.
So how did y'all get 12 on this problem? How did you get your whole?
We added up all the purple and blue dots, and we got 12.
Good.
And then right now we're looking for the X space, so we're getting 12.
Okay, what were you gonna say about the part?
Yeah, we multiply them together to get the X by itself.
Okay, so you're gonna divide both sides by 12 to get x by itself. No, who's the calculator?
900. No, we didn't finish. Remember?
So what's this next step that you're doing right now? What are we doing? What's the step say? Step 2. What does it say do? Okay, so go ahead and cross multiply then. What are you cross multiplying?
175.
Good. So one side, 700. And then what's on the other side? Huh? Oh, I don't have any here. You can use the back of this to write if you need to.
It's 110,000.
Exactly. So why did y'all put the X on the bottom?
Because we're trying to find the whole.
How do you know it's the whole that you're trying to find? What does the question say?
The total of this year and last year. We're trying to get the total of last year.
Okay, so if you're trying to get the total of last year and you know that the old length goes on the bottom, so the old would be last year. Good. Okay. Oh, let me pass out your other papers so you can at least put yours on the problem. I got them. Okay.
We're matching.
Do the work. So I'm passing out your papers. You can answer your question that you did with your group on your paper, and then when the other groups, if you're done right now, and when the other groups get finished, then you'll be able to add theirs to yours. Just let me know if you need more papers. So go ahead, find your problem and put it in on your paper. So everybody should be filling in their part that the group did. So you need to fill out your. Make sure you write it just how it is on the paper you did it. You're gonna wait until the other groups come and then they'll present and then you can fill in those other parts. Okay, so raise your hand if you need more time. Okay, so we're gonna stop the timer since we're done. Okay, let's go back. The speaker will come up. Yes. All right, so who had this first problem that's on the board? Okay, so whoever the speaker is in that group is going to come up, bring your marker so that you can solve it. And everybody else is looking at their paper to fill it out on the question that the other group is presenting. Okay, so you want me to read it? You gonna read it? All right, so it says basically the basketball team, they're tracking Emily's shots that she made and the shots that she missed during the last game. They want to know what percent of attempted shots did she make. So what did you use and what is your X? What are you looking for? Good. So we're looking for the percent. It says what percent. So go ahead and put the variable that you chose for the percent. The variable, just put the letter. You got a marker? Okay. Put the variable for the percent. All right. And then what is your part and what's your whole? You just had the paper.
For the thing, first step, it says set up your percent proportion. We got 9 as our part because we counted up all of these.
Okay. So they got 9 as the part because they counted up all the shots that were made. And then what did you get for your whole?
For a whole, we got 12 because
you going up. Remember, it's up there. That's the second part. So right under here. So we got 9 over 12 equals X over 100. Then what did you use for your second step? Where's your paper? You need one?
You would cross multiply 9 times 100.
Now you can write it on the line. The next line. I know it's a little confusing. Yeah. So 900 on one side and then equal to what? Good. Good. 12x. So the second line, he had 900 equals 12x. Then what are we doing now?
Then we do.
We still need to. Go ahead. Why are you dividing by 12?
Because 12 is our whole.
Not because it's our whole. Why are you dividing by 12? What are you doing? This is the problem you're on now. Why did you decide to divide by 12? Somebody in his group. Why did you guys divide by 12? Just explain. Because it's 12x, and what does that mean? What are you trying to do? Trying to get x by itself. So that's why we're getting rid of that 12 so that we can get x by itself. Okay. And then we divide 12 on one side or both sides. Yep, because whatever you do to one, you have to do to the other. Okay. So then what are we left with when we divide 12 by 12? What are you left with? X. Good. And then on the other side, 900 divided by 12, what did you get? Good. 75%. So X equals, the equal signs. X is equal to 75. Good. Good job. Really good job. All right. So everybody got that written down? Okay. All right. Let's do another group. Whose group is this? All right. Who's coming up to be the speaker? So make sure again that you're filling them in as we're going. All right. You gonna read it or you want me to read it?
The nutrition labels shows the percent of the recommended daily intake for the nutrients found in the serving of soy milk. How many milligrams of calcium should you consume each day?
Okay, we're gonna write a percent proportion, which is what we did. So when we write this percent proportion, what are we looking for?
The part.
The part. So where's your X go? You got a marker?
Yeah.
Where's your marker?
I think it's jot out.
Okay, let's get that one. Thank you. All right, so we got a part. So that we're looking for the part, which means that we should have our percent and our whole. So what's the percent?
The percent is
20. Okay, where'd you get it from? In the picture, right? Okay, so sometimes the numbers won't be actually in the problem, but they will have like a picture that will have the numbers on it. So you have to make sure that you look at the whole entire problem. Okay, and the whole is 260. Okay, so then again, what's our next step?
We cross multiply 20 times 260.
And you got?
And I got 5,200.
And then on the other side, what'd you get?
100x.
100x. Oh, yep, you skipped ahead. So why you put 100 there?
Because 100.
Why you put 100 right here?
Oh, because you divide both sides by 100.
Why'd you pick 100?
Because it's the variable.
You want the variable by itself. So go ahead and put it on this side too. And when you divide both sides by 100, what is your x going to equal to?
52.
All right, so x is equal, you put x equal to 52. All right, so the 52 would be over here because 52, 5,200 divided by 100 will be 52. You bring down your equal sign, and then 100 divided by 100 is just going to leave me with x. So it'll be x is equal to 52. Okay, good job. All right, who had this problem? All right, so who's the speaker in this group? All right, I'm going to read it.
A plan to expand Megan's room will make the length of 175% of the current length. What will be the new length of her room?
Okay. So what are you looking for? You're looking for the part, okay. And how did you determine that you were looking for the part? What made you decide it was the part that you were looking for? Okay, so you know the percent already. Okay. So you knew your options were only either the part or the whole. How did you decide that it was not the whole that you were looking for, but the part?
The whole would be the old length.
Good. So the old length, which is on the bottom, is the whole. It represents what number did you put? 4. Good. And then the new length that we're looking for represents what it's going to be. Okay. So when they expand the room 175%, it's going to be a number, and we want to figure out what that number is. So now what you do? Okay, go ahead and just solve the problem. Just write it out, since we kind of been seeing the same thing. So she did 175 times 4. She got 700, and then she did 100 times x, and she got 100x. And then what are you going to do now?
Divide 700 by 100.
Okay, is that just the only number you're dividing by 100? Good. You also divide 100 by 100 because we want what? We want the variable by itself. So when we divide 100 by 100, we get what? What's left? So on this side, when we divided 100 by 100, we got x. Good. Put the equal sign here so we can just make sure we stay in order so it's easy. Then 700 divided by 100 is 7. Good job. All right. All right, let's do one more problem. I don't know if we'll see how much time before we leave.
A survey was given to people who own a certain type of car. What percent of the people surveyed were completely satisfied with
Okay.
the car?
So what are you looking for?
I'm looking for their percent.
The percent. Okay. Got a marker? It's in that basket. So we're looking for the percent in this problem. It says what percent of people are surveyed. So we already know we're looking for the percent. And then what did you have for your part and your whole?
Part is 1,000.
Why did you pick that one as your part?
Because it says what percent of the people surveyed were so it'll be
Good. And what did you put for your whole?
whole is
And how did you get that number?
by adding 1,100, 740, and 160.
Good. So you added everything in the whole to get the whole. Good.
And then I cross multiplied, and we got 11. And then, because it's the whole, we divide 2,000.
So because it's the whole, or why are you dividing by 2,000?
So I can get the variable.
Good. You're dividing by 2,000 so you can get the variable by itself. So we divide both sides by 2,000, and then we get x is equal to okay, so good. So one side he put the 55, and the other side the x. So the percent is 55%. And again, when you look at these problems, if you see that it's 2,000, if I knew it was half of that, half of 2,000, what's half of 2,000? 1,000, right? So if this number is 1,100, that's a little bit more than half. So when he gets his answer 55, that does make sense, right? It's a little bit more than 50%, which makes sense. So even though we do these problems, it should still make sense when we think about it logically. Okay, 1,100 is a little bit more than half of 2,000. Okay, so good job. Okay, so again, just because of time, we're gonna recall what we're doing. So again, in this lesson, we were connecting percent and proportion. So we use our percent proportion problem, which is part over whole equals percent over 100. And then we can also use the new length over the old length to determine what our percent is that is over 100 as well. So anytime you have a percent problem, when you're given a percent problem in the future on the test, just make sure that you always think about, if I'm doing percent, it's percent over 100, and then the part over whole. Okay, always. Again, if the length is different or it's old versus new, then we'll do that. But again, you guys did a great job. And for the sake of time, we are going to end this video. Okay, so good. Okay. All right, make sure you clean up your area.